Test. Great. Let's just hope everything stays okay today. Alright, take this off private. Oh, great. Live stream is live. Let's just share it around. Put the chat up. Hello, everyone on the second channel. If I have chose to upload it there. Alright, live streaming. No. Alright, there we go. There's one. Stick on Discord. And there will be two. Sending videos. There we go. All right. Oh, hey everyone. Sorry, I was messing around with some settings. Hi Junior, hi D. Yeah, Diego. I haven't seen the trailer. Is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in it? That's all I want to know. Early gang. Hey Matt. I haven't been this early. For me, it's really late. I've only been doing it 'cause I've been busy with other stuff. So I'm streaming late tonight. Hi Dave, thanks for joining. Yeah, I couldn't really think of much to talk about tonight, but then I did see this Grimes thing going around on Twitter, so I thought it'd be funny just to talk about it. They are not there. Diego, but does it have Jamie Foxx and the old Doc Ock? That's also what I want to know. Wait. From because I know Doc Ock from the old Spider-Man's is in it. So it's Matt Best. That's how you pronounce it. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really know what to talk about. Maybe talk about the Hassan stuff a bit more. Just to get the conversations started. What do you guys think about the Hassan house thing? You probably saw my video about it, but let me know what you guys think in the chat right now. If you want to talk about anything else I've spoke about recently, like Lauren Southern or the Taliban or some shit like that. In terms of videos this week, I'm trying to think of some. Now, the main one I'm thinking about tomorrow is about OnlyFans and Tumblr, basically using sex workers to get like popular and then abandoning them. And then I want to do potentially one on like the podcast ecosystem, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, right? When anyone sends me a new podcast channel, like a right-wing podcast channel, the same people appear on every single podcast channel. Now, these podcast channels might not necessarily be like overtly right-wing, but all the guests they pretty much get on them are right-wing. And they make Joe Rogan look like some sort of leftist by comparison, just for actually having some people who aren't totally crazy. Also, also something I find really funny is something I noticed lately, and I'll probably keep doing it. My community post is just like you can post whatever you want on YouTube. Whenever I post a picture of myself, it does way better than anything else. So I think I'm just gonna keep posting pictures of myself and my drip. I'm messing. But also something I found quite curious is that I posted a photo of myself by Loch Ness, right? And loads of the comments will be like, what the hell, I thought you were like a big dude, or I thought you were fat, or I thought you were chubby. And I was just thinking, like, how have I given so many people this impression? Like, people were also saying to me, what are they saying? No, right wingers have said to me a lot, like when they're trying to insult me, like, oh, chill, fatty. And I'm just like, fatty? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what do you see that I don't see? So I don't know what it is. Because, like, I posted that thing in the community tab, and then people were like, oh, yeah, you're not big. Like, you're actually, like, quite in good shape. But I was just thinking, like, I'm surprised in people's heads. Like, here's a comment. Thought you were a chubby fellow, but you're actually ripped, you work out. Just your face makes you look a bit chubby, not fat. That's one of the comments. Another one, the angles in your videos give me the impression you were a chubbier dude. Let's see if there's any other ones. I think there's a couple more. Never took you for a fit guy. What else are people saying? Someone else said something as well. What the F kind of neck beard body is that? Wait, you look slimmer than in your videos, someone else said as well. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like, a lot of people just say they think I'm chubby or fat, which obviously nothing wrong with being those things, but it's very strange because my whole life I've been pretty skinny, and then in my, like, I don't know, 22 to like 25, I've gotten in like better shape physically in terms of like being bigger and more muscular just from like working out and stuff. But yeah, always something I found weird. Like, right wingers are always calling me fatty and shit like that. And I'm just like, I don't really understand where you're getting this from. I'm giving off bear energy. Is okay? What does bear mean again? Is that like a gay thing? Bear gay culture. In gay culture, a bear is a larger and often hairier man who projects an image of rugged masculinity. Okay, that's not like the worst thing to be, I guess. Demon time, yeah, demon time. We're long past the start of demon time in the UK. It's like 4 hours into demon time. It's definitely the face. I think it's the beard. Yeah, maybe. Who's RM Brown, Matt? Let's have a look. What else can I say to you guys? Yeah, if you guys have any ideas for videos, drop me a message. Yeah, I've never seen RM Brown. The problem with his views are pretty good though, like for his size, 20k. Yeah, getting pretty good views and everything. The problem with me is that I can't collab with people because I'm such a fucking idiot at technology. I just don't know how I'd record it, like the interview. I don't even use Skype or anything. Like, I just don't know how I would get everyone and all the audio and everything synced together. Bear equals fat guy with body hair. Okay, I thought it was like the gay definition of bear. As a fat person, I cannot believe people thought that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the beard, maybe. People have said my head's big as well. You're a skinny legend. What does that fucking mean again? Isn't that like another gay thing? Isn't that something like James Charles says? Okay. Skinny legend. I know my girlfriend knows what this means. because I've heard her say it before. Skinny legend is a positive term that glorifies and praises the person it's meant to describe. It has no correlation to one's weight or body shape. It's used by stands to describe the celebrity that is the focus of their fandom. Okay, so it doesn't really mean anything about being skinny. He is also an idiot. You two would be hilarious together. That's nice. Do I play games or stream on Twitch? Now, I used to occasionally stream myself playing video games on YouTube before I got bigger. So basically, I played Tetris and Death Stranding, but I streamed it through my PS4. But as you guys know, the PS4 is so fucking loud now because of like there's the damage that's been done to it. I have a PS5, but I don't have the PS5 webcam. So I don't know. I am up for streaming games again, but the one problem that I can't seem to get around when I stream games is I can't get the oh no, when you stream through the console, you can't change the thumbnail and you can't change the size of me in the camera. That's what really pisses me off when I've been doing that. Okay, I need to fix my stream resolution. Sorry about this. I don't know what is going on with it though. Apologise for the poor stream quality again. I need to work out how to change it. I need to get my brother to help me or something. He's good at this shit. Like I'm really like. It's weird. Like I'm not a boomer at all, and I am pretty good with technology. But it's just like video streaming shit. I am just so bad at. Like I literally with everything on my YouTube, I self-teach myself it all, and then it means like you're telling me I need to probably like change something like I don't know the bit rate or something from my OBS to make the stream better, like quality. I just don't know how to fucking do that, or I don't know what is the best setting for doing that, or if I'm gonna fuck something up. And then all that shit with the stream key. I think I got my little brother to fill it in once for me, and then I just never touched it. Thanks so much, Smith Black, for the $5. When lefties start becoming too swole, the right will somehow make being muscular a feminine thing. Smith Black, you're so right. Okay, here's something, Smith. In the vein of what you're saying, obviously, I made that video about conservatives in America strangely praising the Taliban, which is just like the weirdest shit. Okay, do you think it's obviously the 20th anniversary of 9/11 coming up. Do you think conservatives will start trying to frame that as like some sort of positive thing? I'm not even joking here. Like, because of how contrarian they're being at the moment, would they say like America deserved it because it had gone woke with critical race theory or some shit like that? I literally can't imagine that happening. It's like they lost in Afghanistan because of critical race theory. Like, what the hell are these people talking about? Huey Long. Sorry, let me just try to mess with the stream thing a bit. Yeah, I don't know anything about Huey Long. Sorry there, bro. Sorry, I won't even pretend. I won't even try. Get to the video. Well, it's a stream, so it's not a video. That's why I did put live stream in brackets in the title, because stream means I will talk about what I've titled it, but I'll do it when I want. Who's your favourite Robin, and who's your favourite The Flash? I don't really care for The Flash. Robin, whoever the one is in the Arkham games. Not Jason Todd. I think it's Tim Drake. So Hamid saying, facts, they should upgrade. The console streaming experience is still cool. You can do it right from the PS5 though. Yeah, I might just buy the PS5 camera. Basically, YouTube haven't paid me in 2 months because the tax forms that they recently made you do are so fucking complicated. So they owe me a big payday. So I might just treat myself and buy some shit for myself because I haven't done that in ages. Like, I've just been trying to save money all year. But yeah, like I maybe buy a new football top because I know people like it when I wear the football tops. Buy a new pair of shoes. Maybe buy a new camera for the PlayStation 5. Tom saying, I get you, I'm garbage with certain computer functions. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm really good at some things, and some things I'm just fucking awful at. And it mainly to do with video shit I'm bad at. Yeah, George, that's what I'm talking about. Is like, is he hot or is he saving the planet? Because it's just like totally embarrassing. That's when I made my video all about this stuff. Um, yeah, some politicians are already saying we lost because we are infested by woke lefties. George saying they're already doing the CRT is why we lost angle, but I don't think they'll say it from 9/11. Okay. Hi, Connor, the Progressive American. Thanks for joining. Not even politicians, just general right wing commentators. How am I? How are you, Cav? Yeah, I feel pretty good. Here's something I want people's opinion on. I don't really want to talk about this because it's just, I don't know, a bit weird on stream. I've had the second dose of something. I won't even say what it is. I felt really bad for nearly 2 weeks. Like really fluey, and I felt fine the next day, and then I felt fine on the day I got it. I felt like shit the next day. Felt okay at the weekend, and then on the Monday, this is a week ago today, I just felt so awful. And then I felt like that until today. And then I just thought I had football today, and I was just like, I haven't done any exercise in 11 days, which is a lot for me. I pretty much exercise every day. And I was like, just drag yourself to football and just try and play, and hopefully the adrenaline will make you feel a bit better. And to be fair, it did make me feel a little bit better, but then my back just started really hurting at the end because it's just, like with the flu, it's like lower back pain I've had all week and like lower, like upper leg pain. So hopefully I'm feeling a lot better now. I hope this is the last day. How are you? Yeah, so that's how I am. Are you a Marxist? Yeah, I'm not a Marxist. In terms of like, I don't just subscribe to Marxism, but I don't care if people call me one. So I'm not like, it's not like I'm not like, left wing or anything like that. It's just like for me, the main thing I think sometimes with socialist ideologies, and I'd say like colloquially, I'm a socialist. Like, you know, redistributing wealth, means of production, and democracy in like workplaces and shit like that. Yeah, I'm for all those things, but I think the main thing with me is like, although I think humans are like a cooperative species of animal, I also think capitalism has been brainwashing us for way too long that I just don't have much hope in humanity, and I don't think humans will necessarily always do the right thing, even for their own self-interest. I think capitalism's a bit of a death cult in that regard. So I wouldn't say like I'm hardcore Marxist. Someone's having a go at me for like, I don't know, like shitting on Maoism or something, saying I wasn't a true Marxist Leninist, and I was like, I've never said to anyone I'm a Marxist Leninist, so I don't give a shit what you say. But yeah, left wing anti capitalist is the main thing I say about myself. Andrea, hi, thanks for joining. Someone, I can't even pronounce your name. She's just another feminist who dates men for money and wonders why poor men shoot up the place after living in a world without love. That sounds very insully. I don't think I agree with that. She doesn't date Elon Musk for money, I don't think, because I don't even think he like it. Technically, she says she doesn't give him any money, so that's whatever. I think, just like many people, she's seduced by the cult of Elon Musk. Basically, buys into all this bullshit that he constantly says. Hey Cal, have you ever heard of Beau of the Fifth Column? He's a leftist journalist. More people in the left should listen to him. I believe interesting nuance. I think he's way bigger than me. I do know who he is. I just don't watch him. Nothing against him. I don't really watch political YouTube, to be honest. Yeah, he's got 620 fucking thousand subscribers. God damn. I would love. I like the thing is like he's obviously got like a this whole like, and I seen like some of his survival videos. I think he has a second channel. Um, Damn, I would love that because okay, not saying it's easy what he does, but because you have to actually carve out like people caring about your opinion for the first place. But um, it's the same with like the Humanist Report and Rational National. I would love to be a news YouTuber because then you can just talk up when you can just talk straight up politics, and you never run out of things to talk about. Whereas I think with me, and okay, this is my own fault for putting me in this bubble, and I'm not disrespecting the work these guys do, because I'm so like topics focused, where I have to try and put a spin on something. I find it like a lot harder to come up with ideas. I wish I could just make videos like below the fifth columns. I'm looking at his now. It's a bit more like an angle on a conversation, but like, I kind of wish sometimes I was a news YouTuber. Smith saying the worst I felt was being extremely tired for a day. I might have slept more for a week or two. Okay. Camillo saying that happened to me and a few people I knew. Seems to be pretty common reaction for the second amongst young adults. Yeah, like it was really strange because like I felt terrible and then felt better for 2 days and then felt terrible again and felt awful for 7 days and then I feel okay today but still not great. Obviously I'm happy enough I did it, but like I felt like shit. Pfizer is one I got. But yeah, let's just go in. There's a couple of you watching now. Let's just go into this story. So basically, it's not like anything like massive. It just plays into a lot of the shit I was saying in my video about her. So let me just check you guys can see this. Okay. All right. So Grimes once again taking to TikTok to defend her longtime partner. Long time? I think they've been going out like 3 years, haven't they? Participating in TikTok's recent "Is he hot or not" trend, Grimes shared a video with the caption, "Stop harassing me in this app over fake news. I am not my BF spokesperson." Seen in the clip stroking a robot dog, questions put to Grimes by fans play out on screen, including, "Is he hot? Is he hot or is he out to destroy big oil? And is he hot or will he put the first human on Mars?" The clip concludes with Grimes raising what looks to be a knife to the artificial canine. Okay, I don't know. Let me just check. Okay, I want to play it for you, but TikTok is notorious for having really relaxed copyright. Okay, maybe I won't play it for you. Actually, give me 1 sec. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, there's the video for you. She's just really weird. Yeah. So the thing with her, which is like really, really funny, is obviously like she built her whole career on this like edgy, anti-establishment aesthetic and shit, and then she goes out with like this guy. The thing is, I think okay, obviously she knows him far better than like all of us, but I think it shows the whole persona of this guy is he's totally like unhinged on Twitter and he's such a fucking nerd. Like I don't mean that in like in a way like I hate nerd culture, because you know, if you know me, you know I love a lot of nerd culture. I mean in terms of like he's just such a loser in terms of he's a guy who the only reason people think he's funny is literally because he's a billionaire, because his sense of humor is so crap. That's why he loves like the fucking Babylon Bee, which is the fucking crappiest satire outlet out there. Literally is not satire. His jokes are total crap. So anyway, people like the cult of Elon Musk is like so ridiculous in terms of like, you see that stupid okay, I'm sure you guys saw his so-called new robot, and it was just a guy or a girl in a morph suit dancing around, and apparently this is some new android, and he releases some like crap details that barely make sense about him. People are like, Elon Musk is releasing an android, oh my god, he sees the future. and I don't know why people don't take him seriously. This is a guy who just sent someone out in a costume to do a stupid dance and said they were making a robot. And apparently this is this genius who will save us. And that's what people like Grimes think, you know. He is this visionary who's going to save the world with clean energy by making cars that most people can't fucking buy because they're way too expensive. And I don't understand. They're like, oh yeah, but one day he just wants to like do them at a loss or whatever. And it's like, this is the richest man in fucking earth. If he wanted to make a cheap electric car, he could make one. Have you seen all the stupid features Tesla cars have? Like, you can play fucking Skyrim on the dashboard. If you wanted to make an affordable fucking car, then you don't need features like that. That's what I mean. If this guy really wanted to make and really wanted to have an impact in terms of, like, I don't know, the pollution from cars, which I think is maybe obviously like a big issue of climate change, but I think there are some other ones that would come before that. Surely if he wanted to, you could make a cheap electric car, like, and use your big marketing, like, or your brand to push it. Let's say for like 5k, 5,000 or like 10,000 new or something. I just don't understand why he has to make cars at 70k with, like, this is pounds as well, because I've looked up how much Teslas cost in the UK, and, you know, not even sell a product that is affordable, which will make a significant impact. Also, I want to talk about something I wrote on Twitter today. I'll ask what people think about this. Give me a sec though. I just need to get it up on the tab. All right. So there was a tweet going around. It was like, what is? Let's see what you guys see. Oh yeah, I completed the Siege of Paris for AC Valhalla. It was pretty good. Okay. One sec. All right. Let me just make this up a bit more. So let me know what you guys think of this. I think I am right, but someone made some good points. All right. One sec. Let me just. Dun, dun. Oh, come on. All right. I'll read the bits you can't see. Let's play some more music. Sometimes SoundCloud gives me no ads, and sometimes it's all the ads at once. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is an insane belief, but I haven't seen many people say this suggestion. So someone tweeted, "What's your most insane belief? Like something you actually support, but most people, including those inside your political circle, would find ridiculous." So I said, honestly, don't know how insane this is, but I think the government should make like a 2050 goal to completely stop selling meat from animals, big subsidies for companies making meat alternatives, help stop climate change from cattle ranches in the Amazon, and also pandemics. The worst pandemics of recent years, COVID and AIDS, have come from people either eating meat or meat markets being breeding grounds for disease, not to mention all the antibiotics pumped into animals, which helps create antimicrobial resistance. Meat markets need to end, right? So people were talking in the comments of this, like the feasibility of this. And I know, like, okay, I know you can't campaign on this plan and win an election because we've been so brainwashed, like, about meat as like personal freedom. And we live in this Western society that seems to value the individual above all else. But the thing is, what people don't realise, because most people don't understand this stuff, right? Most of our meat is made in these factory farms or even, like, you know, more organic farms. But the meat we eat is from animals that are pumped full of antibiotics because, especially when they're in close conditions, they're so vulnerable to disease. So you've got to pump them through of antibiotics. But what a big problem facing the world right now is that the antibiotics we use have for too long been using the same ingredients. So basically, with antibiotics, you have to keep changing the ingredients. Otherwise, you can create a antibiotics resistant superbug, essentially, where you guys abusing this stuff with animals and humans just teaches diseases, viruses, bugs to overcome the stuff you're using to treat them. And that's why you have to keep changing up the formula, because if you don't keep changing up the formula, the diseases will work out a way to go around these, and then basically it's going to be like, not exactly like this, but like, for example, the Black Plague in the 1300s, which killed like 2/3 of Europe. and it's actually just like a lottery because you don't have anything to treat it with. And that's the real crisis we're facing, and that's like something I feel like people don't understand about the meat industry. Is like one of the biggest like dangers of the meat industry is pumping these animals full of these antibiotics, which could be devastating for not just animals but the human race as well. And also, obviously, one of the biggest carbon sinks in the whole world is the Amazon rainforest. Now, the Amazon rainforest is, of course, being cut down at a crazy rate. One of the main factors, or the main contributors to that, is people clearing the land to make cattle farms. And I've spoken about this before, so you might have heard me talk about this before. But cattle farms are bad for two reasons. Of course, you're taking away all the like the things that contribute to making a carbon sink, like the foliage in the rainforest, is one thing. But also, cows fart out methane gas, which also contributes to global warming. So that's a double-edged sword there. So in my mind, it's like imperative for both all this, well, not all this stuff, but like for pandemics, for climate change, we need to stop eating meat. And the thing is, I've had lately, because my girlfriend's vegetarian, I've had a lot of stuff, plant-based stuff, butter, and like I've had various different meats which are vegetarian alternatives, and they taste pretty good. Like most of them, if you gave me it, I wouldn't actually know it wasn't meat. And I think that's the thing I'm saying with like the goal and the subsidies, is that I've seen a lot of animal cell grown meat or plant grown meat which people say tastes very similar. So imagine where that tech will be in 30 years time, and imagine where it'd be if you incentivize companies to actually make this stuff. And that's what I'm saying, like the goal should be there, and it has so many benefits, and I can't think of any negatives, because hopefully this stuff would also be healthier for you, because especially red meat, which is the one I'm focusing on with the climate change issue because of the cattle, red meat is largely, especially if you don't have an active lifestyle, it is way worse for you than white meat in terms of things like, you know, cholesterol, heart disease, everything like that. So I don't see any downsides to this policy, right? The only downside is people will have to give up their love of meat, and the meat industry will have to change. And I don't feel too bad for that. I'm not someone who thinks, won't you think of the poor workers in the meat industry? Of course, I don't want people to lose their jobs. I also don't want the human race to be destroyed by climate change and superbugs. So we can always create new jobs in new fields, especially if we're working towards creating meat alternatives and policies to help, you know, stem the flow of climate change. One thing we can't go back is the planet. So when I talk about HIV/AIDS, how that started was a disease that chimpanzees carried in, I think it's the Congo. It mutated when it was passed to humans, which created HIV, and it's speculated that this is because in the Congo, especially in the 70s, chimps were often eaten as part of bushmeat, so that is the way it transmitted to humans. In terms of, you know, coronavirus and stuff, we don't exactly know what it is, like concretely. The main theory is it's from bats, because bats normally transmit this stuff, and whether that's from eating bats or it's bats being sold in these food markets, often these animals are alive, creating these, like, you know, conditions which are horrible for, you know, viruses and diseases, and that it could have been a pangolin, but I think the main theory now is it was a bat. So that's two of the most lethal pandemics in the last 40 years comes from eating meat and the meat industry. And this is the thing, is that I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, and I really like my meat. Like I especially like chicken because I have that so much. But I'd totally be willing, and that the problem I find, I don't know, you guys can tell me if you guys think this as well. The problem I find at the moment is there's just not enough alternatives that are cheap. There are alternatives, and there's also not enough variety as well. That's what I'll say, even in the big supermarkets. So for me, it's like that's what the subsidies are for, is flooding, not flooding until they're like, you know, ridiculously, you know, cheap, or you put things out of business straight away, but like, we need more alternatives for this stuff. And it's clear there is a demand because veganism is growing, but it's mostly seen at the moment as a lifestyle choice. And you want to be vegan because you care about the animals. And I care about animals and stuff. But like, that is not my main reason for doing this, which I think is it's annoying because I feel like it's going to be too late. It's like with climate change. I feel like we didn't frame the issue properly in that what's going to happen with climate change. It's not oh like in Britain it will be a bit hot all year round. That's how we were kind of sold climate change before in the past. Not that like what we've seen over the last 2 years, for example, extreme weather killing loads of people, but also what we're going to see in the coming 2 decades, 3 decades is wars over resources, parts of the world that are already quite volatile because of geopolitics, like Iraq, for example, being too hot to live in, like literally too hot, like 50 degrees for large parts of the year, 60 degrees even. But that's going to happen. What's going to happen then? Climate refugees. And climate refugees going to come to Europe, where what are the Europeans going to do? Are they going to welcome these refugees with open arms? They couldn't even welcome the Syrian refugees and the Libyan refugees. Of course, what's going to happen is far-right politicians are going to use the climate refugees in their propaganda to push far-right xenophobic policies. And that's what I'm really afraid of. And I think that is the way climate change had to be framed to make people take it way more seriously. Whereas I think with veganism or even just vegetarianism, veganism of course is a better solution because you just don't want this animal market to exist in the first place, because if that is making like products from cow's milk or goat's milk and stuff, it still often have really horrible conditions for the animals which can create these diseases. And I think a lot of people often see it in the terms of, oh, humans are meant to eat meat, we've always done it, blah blah blah. And okay, that's fine, I don't give a shit, I agree with that. Humans have always eaten meat. It's like this instinctive thing as animals, we've always done it. And as much as I like animals, I really like apes and stuff. They're my favorite. Gorillas and chimps and stuff. So I don't think we should eat them. I think they should have human rights everywhere. But and I like dogs and cats and stuff like that. But at the same time, my main argument is stuff like we've been seeing in terms of health crises and also climate change are fueled by the meat market. And it's just something, as part of a global initiative to tackle climate change, it's something we should do. But we need to, I'd love Britain to do this, but lots of the world need to do it. And we need to, the main thing I see as a problem is that if a few countries do it, so let's say the European Union all do it, and they all have these incentives to get off meat by 2050 or something. The problem is with emerging economies in Africa and Asia who could potentially make up the loss in the European Union. That's why I think, this is utopian thinking, it's not going to happen, but the whole world, like a UN initiative or something, needs to stress the importance of getting off meat and make these things available in all countries, so that even if, for example, rich Western countries do stuff like this, you don't want Brazil to then think, or Argentina to then think, well, look at, I don't know, these emerging economies in Africa, let's just go sell there now. Look at these Asian emerging economies, let's go sell our products there more than we did to the Europeans, because in 20, 30 years, they'll be more developed, they can afford this for the kind of the similar prices we used to charge the Europeans. So that's why, in my head, it's like a global thing that needs to be done. And like I said, it's just like, that's the annoying thing in general about being like woke, is that this is just like the right thing. It's not like in terms of a debate, it's like this would be like a net positive for the world, and you can make accommodations in terms of like, it's not the end of the world if you don't eat meat. And in terms of personal freedom argument, I don't really give a shit in terms of when it's these crises that are like really apocalyptic. If we're talking about something like alcohol, for example, I rarely drink, but I do drink sometimes. I would be willing to give up, me personally, I would be willing to give up drinking if everyone stopped drinking, because of course alcohol consumption is just a net negative for humans, basically. Like in the UK especially, so many deaths are linked to alcohol just from drinking it. Obviously drunk driving, violent fights and stuff. Alcohol in general, like I'm not a Puritan because I'm not advocating banning this, but if you look at it objectively, consuming alcohol just for humans is a net negative. There is pretty much nothing positive about drinking most alcohol. And there's a couple of studies about wine being, somewhat good for you, but pretty much every alcohol is bad for your health. it's also just bad for society for what it causes. That's like the only thing I agree. Like quite because in London there's a lot of Muslim preachers and they give you leaflets for free, and I just take them because I'm interested in seeing what they have to say. And the only convincing argument I read in these leaflets was about alcohol consumption, and it just had all these statistics about how much violent crime alcohol causes and domestic abuse and everything like that. So I thought that was a really interesting argument. And also what I love in London, I love the Muslim areas of London because the coffee shops stay open all night. And it's like, I want to go to a coffee shop that stays open to like 11 p.m. rather than have to go to some crappy, dingy pub. And they're always like nice coffee shops, and sometimes obviously you have like the shisha outside and stuff. So anyway, I haven't read the comments for a fair bit. So I hope you guys are commenting and I can read some of what you guys are saying. All right, let's have a look what you guys are saying. Sorry, we're going back to the grime stuff. So yeah, comment on what I've just said. I'm just gonna go up and read. You'd be great if you did news. Since Michael Brooks dies, David Dole's the only news guy I really like. Yeah, I like David and Mike from the Humanist Report. The thing is with news, I used to do news on my channel. If you're interested, go back to my channel in 2019. It's pretty much all news. But then like because in 2020 I had a lot of success with like topic videos, so I just shifted my content to like internet politics, I'd call it. Grimes comes off as really sheltered. No wonder she fell for Musk. Yeah, Smith, if you watch the video I did on her, she had like high parents who were quite not privileged, like middle class, but her life kind of seems kind of weird. Like she was really naughty in school and stuff, and just like getting her friends and stuff were very like outcasts and everything. I have propositions with a communist. Yeah, that's what she said. Tom saying, your topics are always refreshing and unique. It's the reason I love this channel. I can tell you put a lot of time coming up with these topics. Yeah, thanks so much, Tom. I'm glad someone appreciates it. Because I think the main thing people don't realise is like the stress of my life pretty much comes down to coming up with things to actually fucking talk about. Like, I was so happy that Hassan thing happened on Friday or Thursday night, because I literally was like sitting in my bed the night before I went to bed, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about tomorrow? And also I was busy on Friday night, so I was like, I've got to do something quick. And then the Hassan thing came out, I was like, I'm doing something on that. And at the moment, like I'm looking at my list, I have like a couple good ideas. So I'll read people a couple. So podcast right-wing ecosystem is what I want to do. The conservative reaction to Harry and Meghan versus Prince Andrew is one I want to do as well. Probably one tomorrow. I'm going to talk about OnlyFans and Tumblr. I want to make a larger one on the downfall of Andrew Yang. I want to do another one on these brands that like advertise stuff to men, but it's all about like army stuff. So like makeup is like war paint, or like it makes nappy bags or some shit like look like army equipment. And then maybe about the intellectual dark web being united by hating Islam is what I want to do as well. And maybe about why so many weirdos love Julian Assange. Like, obviously, I support him being released, but like, when you have like Jack Posobiec advocating for it, I'm just like, what the fuck's the deal here? But yeah, the good thing is the news inspires my topics, but I can't just cover the straight up news most of the time. So she thinks she will live on Mars one day, perhaps. She probably does, to be honest. Yeah, Red Leader talking about Tesla cars decapitating people. Yeah, it's actually pretty mad, like all the accidents they're involved in. Elon is trying to make Ben's dream of living in Blade Runner come true. Yeah. Only 37 likes. Yeah, like the live stream if you're watching. Hi Johnny, thanks for joining. Bryson, the only car I can buy is a van, because if I spend that much money on something, then I better be able to live in it. Yeah, exactly. The only reason I have a car is because my granddad has Parkinson's, and he gave it to me. Is literally the only reason. Or I used to drive my mum's car before. Um, Factory farming is evil. Yeah, I agree, but I'm not even like I said, I'm not even coming at it from like a save the animals angle. Our species in its final years. Yeah, mirror universe. I do tend to think not that I think humans will survive, but that's what my dilemma with having children is that I really think the world will be fucked up by the time I die. Um, Jason saying it's getting way easier to be veggie, been one for years, and when there are no options, it's so damn easy now comparatively. Yeah, it's definitely like my girlfriend, because she's vegetarian. When we're having food together, obviously because I'm not like whatever like the reverse of vegetarian would be like don't eat vegetarian food. We make veggie food, and it's actually like corn mince instead of beef mince is actually really good. Like I actually might even prefer it. We make like fajitas with it, and it's really nice. So and like I said, the chicken, the plant based chicken, there's lots of stuff I've had. It is really really good. Um, so based mum, I like that name. I appreciate this take. The meat industry is a huge issue. The way they push milk in school really bothers me. The milk one is the only thing is a bit complicated to me because almond milk is terrible for the environment. I think is it oat milk is also terrible for the environment. So is it soy milk is the only I don't know one of them is okay. The other two are really really bad for it. So it's an annoying one. And also I really like milk, and it obviously is good for you. I really just need to make a better milk alternative. I've had decent chocolate milk, which is vegan, and vegan coffee drinks I've had as well, which are nice. But I've never really had nice vegan veggie milk or whatever. Really is saying just know the EU will prevent other nations from affordably going vegetarian, and then will shame the savages. The existence of the EU is a threat to any global improvement. Yeah, definitely. Someone was actually saying that. I don't know who said it on Twitter. They were saying that Western countries will like be more pro-vegetarian and start developing like more green technology, and then they'll start blaming climate change on underdeveloped countries, which I thought was a really interesting point. I hadn't actually thought of before, but now it just makes too much sense for it not to happen. Yeah, based on what I'm saying, another issue is people don't want to be told what they can and can't eat. People have been taught to believe they need meat for protein, even though meat gets its protein from plants. Yeah, based on I think that's a really important point. I think as a political issue, it's just so hard. Like like I'm saying, personal freedom. Like you can't tell me what to eat. Blah blah blah. Nanny state, all that crap. Less meat consumption will have some impact less a drop in the ocean compared to the biggest polluters. 100 companies responsible for 3/4 of global emissions, or fossil fuel. But the thing is, the meat industry is also the transportation of the meat as well. So I think it's not something. But the thing is, like I'm talking about, Ned, I'm talking about the Amazon rainforest, which is one of the biggest carbon sinks in the world. So that plays into your argument too, because it's like you need this carbon sink to stop it going into the atmosphere and stuff. So I think that's where my argument is talking about climate change is about the methane gas from the cows and the cutting down the Amazon rainforest. So I think it's a compatible idea of yours in terms of if you're going to take on these corporations, you still want to keep the carbon sink. Yeah, the US, but then also saying the US military is one of the biggest polluters. Exactly. The thing is, Spooky Kitty saying Carl Kalinsky thinks social media should be a public utility, but then, so is it then subject to US laws on free speech or UK laws on free speech? Then it looks different for every country, doesn't it? Because in terms of the US, it looks like a place that you can just say fucking anything. But in the UK, I don't know how much it would change, to be honest. Oh, you love these topics, do them all. Yeah, I might do them all. I hate the intellectual dark web and the two brothers that like goblins, the Weinstein, is it? Yeah, Red Leader. I think my main point with the Assange thing is mainly that it's not so much like I'm not really talking about the Jimmy Dore people who, although Jimmy Dore and those sorts of people who are obsessed with it are just fucking weirdos. But I don't think like it's like wrong politics of them. I think the main thing is it's like with a lot of the alt right, and this might sound like a bit like far fetched. I think a lot of the far right love Julian Assange because he exposed the U.S. war machine being brutal. But I think the main thing for these guys, like Jack Posabet, is pretty much like an open Nazi. Is in the sense that like they're like, oh, look what the U.S. military does, the U.S. military bad, and I think it just links into general criticism that it's a waste and the U.S. military just acts on behalf of Israel. I kind of think I need to research it more, but that's obviously what the alt right think in general. But it's like the Johnny Depp stuff as well. It's like on the surface it seems like he's been given a bit of he's been treated pretty badly. But just so many fucking weirdos support his like case against Amber Heard. And it's just like the context of it is like I feel like loads of people do this because they're just massive misogynists and stuff. It's a weird thing how many weird people jump on causes that seem like on the surface that they appeal to a certain group of people. Stalin and Mao are based. No. I mean, Stalin 100% isn't based. Mao could be based if he died just after the revolution, but sadly he didn't, so he was very unbased. Unless we're talking about landlords. But yeah, Stalin, no. Young people getting political. Giro saying, why is that happening? I think for young people, like, it's just kind of impossible not to be in the sense that we all know the. I think it's just because obviously generations came before us, have destroyed the planet for us, and also have fucking looted all the countries they live in, and they're the people who are the richest. Where for a lot of us now, there's not even a hope of living comfortably, let alone becoming wealthy. So I think it's just like you get radicalized from a lot of a younger age, but I also think that hustle culture, the gig economy, zero contract hours and shit like that. I think it just like radicalizes people and that there's just no stability in people's lives, and you always have a master, like shitty boss, landlord. And in America, of course, it's even worse because your job is often tied to your health insurance, which is really shit. Sanji Boy, I've done a Jimmy Dore exposed video like 7 months ago or something. Yeah, UK laws and free speech are crap now. Like, I think with the Count Dankula stuff, that stuff was a bit stupid, but the new laws they're bringing in are so like authoritarian in terms of like laws against journalists, embarrassing the government, or like you get 10 years for throwing a tomato at a statue or some shit. Ned saying, definitely agree, deforestation and illegal logging operations are a huge issue. Palm oil and soybeans are driving industrial scale producers clear forests at alarming rate. Yeah, I totally agree. So I think that's part of the problem. Yeah, palm oil is another massive one as well. Yeah, okay. People ask him if the cause is right, does it matter? Sometimes no, but it's like someone just said the free Hong Kong shit is people only get like that And okay, okay, I figured out now. Here's my problem, right? And I've said this 100 times with Jimmy Dore. So, in terms of the free Hong Kong stuff, and here's my opinion about Taiwan as well. Like, okay, Taiwan was obviously Taiwan has historically been a part of China, right? And obviously, it was taken by the Japanese, given back to Chiang Kai-shek. Then Chiang Kai-shek flees over the nationalists, sets up his own country. But in terms of that's obviously like this an imperialist thing, but the current government of Taiwan isn't the nationalists for like the first time in ages, and they don't want to be part of China. And it's a it's a democracy by and large, Taiwan, and I respect that it just doesn't want to be a part of China. So yeah, like fair enough. Most people there do not want to be a part of mainland China. And with Hong Kong, a lot of these people do not want direct communist control of Hong Kong, and I respect that. So I'm totally for them exercising their rights against the more authoritarian turn Hong Kong is taking, right? But that's because I'm generally for people being like self-determinate. I'm generally for self-determination, being anti-authoritarian in most respects, not all respects. But yeah, loads of people supporting the Hong Kong protests are fucking weirdos who just hate China. And it's the same thing. This is why it's important, I think, to point this stuff out. So people like Tulsi Gabbard, Jimmy Dore, all these like so-called libertarian left type people, someone like Tulsi Gabbard isn't anti-war, although they'll go and talk about her being anti-war. She's anti-American intervention, which is so much different because a lot of the alt-right are anti-American intervention, right? They're not anti-war. They don't hate violence. They don't hate war. They hate American intervention as they see it right now because for the alt-right, they believe American intervention is just done because Israel and the Jews tell them to do it. That is what the alt-right believe about American intervention, whereas someone like Tulsi Gabbard believes that American intervention in the Middle East is a waste of money, American lives, that money should be spent at home. But Tulsi Gabbard, clearly with the people she's allied with herself in the past, like someone like Modi, for example, she's not anti-war. Modi is not anti-war. Modi uses violence against Muslims in India. He uses violence against people in Kashmir, the Indian security forces there. This guy is not anti-war. The other people she likes are not anti-war. And that's why it's important, because I feel like a lot of people, even me to an extent, get duped by someone like Tulsi Gabbard because they say stuff you don't necessarily hear other politicians saying about American intervention, but then it convinces you that she is also anti-war. Whereas someone like Bernie Sanders broadly is anti-war because it comes from his politics. And that's what I mean. If you're anti-war, a lot of the time, it comes from your belief in like humans cooperating and getting along diplomatically, just generally being against violence as well, and being against imperialist war. Where I think being anti-intervention is so much different, and that's why I think you get a lot of people who aren't actually that bad kind of buying into people like Jimmy Dore or Tulsi Gabbard because they think they're anti-war. And that's why it's important, the Julian Assange stuff, right? In terms of if you're talking about Jack Posobiec or other weird right-wingers or Hong Kong and like all these weird neocons who supported the protest, it's important to do that because even though often they can be like allies and maybe they can amplify the voices, my main problem is then you start looking at those people as sort of either authority figures or people who believe in these causes as like just their personal belief in like freedom or anti-authoritarianism or anything like that. But the same people in America, mostly, who were massive on the Free Hong Kong stuff, were also cheering on the police as they brutalised Americans for protesting for Black lives. So that's like the hypocrisy there, where I feel like if you're a genuine leftist, there isn't hypocrisy, right? And that's why I've said before, I don't believe Jimmy Dore would be so fanatical about a Russian Julian Assange. Let's say there is a Russian journalist who comes out and shows footage, and this is well documented, this even happened, that Russia committed war crimes in Syria, right? Jimmy Dore, if there was this Russian Julian Assange that was being held in, I don't know, what's a Russian-friendly country? Let's say was being held in Iran, waiting deportation to Russia or something, where he would probably be killed or something, then Jimmy Dore would not be making a ton of videos talking about the Russian Julian Assange, he needs our help right now. He wouldn't do that because these guys care about Julian Assange as an extension of their anti-American views or anti-American imperialism views, and he just furthers their argument. But if Julian Assange was Russian and he exposed Russian war crimes in Syria, I'm convinced these guys would just not give a single shit about this. So that's my main point with in terms of why it's sometimes important to dissect like good causes and talk about why weird people often support these good causes. And the main problem like that, like you can say, fair enough, people will try to make Donald Trump pardon Julian Assange, the right-wingers who did this stuff. And you could say that is useful. But at the same time, my main point is, don't then suddenly think these people are good people, or these guys have morals, or they actually give a shit about freedom of the press because they don't, or freedom to protest because they don't. I guess that's my main thing. Tyler, that's pretty cool. You got into a class that teaches political sociology. I've never heard of that as a course. How's that different from political science? Kavernacle, would you ever have Mia Mulder on to talk about history? I don't really know who that is. And I also don't know, have they ever expressed an interest of talking history with me? Because I really doubt that. The thing is, you got to remember, especially for me, because Mia Mulder has 72k subs, so I don't know if they would really want to collaborate with me. But what you have to remember is, like, people often ask me, like, oh, talk to Vosh about this, or talk to this YouTuber about this. For me personally, I don't like hitting people up and be like, yo, like, let's collab, like, it'd be so great. I'm pretty bad like that. If someone comes to me and wants to talk, I'm pretty happy, especially if I go on their channel because I'm so bad at tech. But generally, I'm not going to message someone and be like, let's talk some shit. I don't know. I feel like I'm bothering people, or I feel like I'm a beg or some shit. So I've never really done that. Yeah, that's singularity. That sucks. I live in the US and I'm about to be without insurance here in like 5 months. Yeah, it's so crap. The US system is absolute dog shit for that stuff. And when I say the US is the most cucked by capitalism, that's what I'm always fucking talking about. It's like, how can you live in a country where your healthcare is for a lot of people tied to your fucking job? It's just like, you know, I don't know. It's just so shitty, and it's so shitty that half the country are brainwashed by, well, most of the country are brainwashed by both parties, thinking it can't be reality. Like, do you remember Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden, like Medicare for all who want it? But yeah, because everyone loves union healthcare, which they can take away if you lose your job or leave the union. Great. Sorry, I'm just reading some more stuff. I don't really watch Carl Kalinske, really. Garo's gone, but yeah, the Kavernacle Extra is where I archive my streams if anyone gives a shit. And you can go watch old streams or watch this one if you missed a start or you know left early or something. Evil Little McNugget saying, I started uni today and there was an anti-masker in biology. It reminds me of those fucking people who are nurses and are just anti all this stuff. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just don't understand how you can be trained in medicine and healthcare and still believe these stupid conspiracies. It's just what state of the world have we got to where this happens? It's just, I honestly don't even know what to say. Anyway, congrats on starting uni. How'd you find it? So are people talking about China in the comments? yeah, I think Singularity saying, but there's so many fuckers here that have convinced themselves it's okay to your basic survival 100% dependent on some shit job. Yeah, it's the thing is Singularity. Why it's so frustrating is like you pretty much already rely on your job to live because you need the money, right? But it makes it even worse. And here's the thing I don't understand even more, right? If the healthcare literally, if it gave you healthcare in the sense that you never had to pay for it, like let's say you have a job and that means you have guaranteed free healthcare, I could understand people defending that a bit more. But literally, when it's like, yeah, you get a health insurance coverage, which means you often still have to pay thousands of dollars that you cannot afford to get your healthcare is just like mind-boggling, and it's just crazy that in this and obviously it shows you how shit having a two-party system is that both the main parties in the US are against universal healthcare. And obviously you can talk about like Joe Biden obviously cares about healthcare and giving people healthcare more than people like Donald Trump, but at the same time when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people dying every year because they're not covered, then how can that be defensible from a so-called centre-left position that the Democrats are meant to be? And it's just absolutely crazy that you have. I'm not sure what Mexico's situation is, but at least Canada has universal healthcare. The UK has universal healthcare. Most of America's biggest allies have universal healthcare. Cuba, which Americans often go to get healthcare, has universal healthcare. Why can the richest country in existence not afford this? And also, I'm speculating this a bit more. I don't know what people think. Do you think America is actually more similar to a country like Brazil than it is to a country like, I don't know, let's say Germany, like a European country with a good standard of living, Germany or something? Because in my mind, I think something a bit unsaid about America. I think, so if you guys don't know, like industrialized countries like India and Brazil, like ones that are newer to being industrialized, they have upper class and they have a middle class, but they have a massive drop off when they just have so much poverty. And I'm coming to think that America is actually more in a bracket with those countries, because American poverty, like when you see some of the worst places to live in America, it literally looks like a war zone. It's absolutely mental. I mean, you have things like the opioid crisis and all these awful, obviously not healthcare for a lot of people is a big one as well. It reminds me more of something like Brazil. Obviously, you don't have like favelas and like in India, these giant slums and stuff. But at the same time, America to me, in terms of like the class structure, does not look like a developed country. It reminds me of a country like Brazil, where the wealth inequality in America specifically is just really, really stark and obvious. Where it's UK is bad as well, but I think America is a bit of a different level. And I think, let's say Germany is like more like a traditional, what we view like a developed country. Like you have a lot of poor people, but then most people are like working to middle class. Like they're not on the breadline, for example. I think in America, like just the way it's structured, like service jobs, like why do service people rely on tips for their income? That is another one which is just absolutely insane to me. Excuse me. Australia, New Zealand, universal healthcare. It's all about the money. Base mum saying it's the illusion. We have a big grocery store with lots of options, land for free. Yeah, you got like 100 brands of energy drink, but most people don't have healthcare. Singularity saying I live next to a highway and there are at least 50 homeless people over by the exits under the overpass every day. Yeah, like I honestly think America's image on the world is so influenced by its media that I don't think a lot of people show the reality of America. Like a lot of the time there's like ask Reddit threads about America, for example, and it's like the violent drug crime in America is just obviously, like, I'm not blaming individuals really when it's the system kind of pushes so many people into it, but just the violent crime, the violent drug crime, obviously the gun crime, the lack of healthcare, the poverty of so many people living paycheck to paycheck, not an adequate social security, social safety net. I mean, and honestly, it's hard to talk about America being like a really developed country, and even if we're talking about like infrastructure, public transport, everything like that, it feels like America, like the best thing the elites in America have done has brainwashed so many Americans, and this is actually true. Like, this is not me speculating, because I've had so many people say this to me. But so many people in America are brainwashed that America is the best country on earth. Like, it is better than Europe. It is better than all these countries. But healthcare is better. The standard of living is better. Everything is better in America. And obviously, because most people in America don't leave America and never see the world, then they just stay ignorant and think like, well, this is the best. Like, you can't imagine someone who comes from like a deep red state going to live in like a place of universal healthcare and getting that coverage and having it for free, going back and still being brainwashed that America does not need that as well, or America shouldn't have that. But because most Americans don't leave, they are all brainwashed, and obviously a lot of them can't leave because, unlike in Europe, where a lot of people do like travel around to different countries because, for example, it's pretty cheap. You can get the train. School trips. I went to a school with loads of different people, like poor, middle class, upper class. You go on school trips to France because you can get the train to France, and the school will pay for most of it and subsidise it. So most kids get to go to France at least like once or twice, or you can go on like, other trips to like Holland or Germany or Austria and stuff. So you actually see more of the world even from like the school perspective. But in America, you'll be lucky to go to Mexico or Canada if you live close enough. But a lot of people in America don't live close enough, so you're going nowhere. It's just something that I think if Americans could all travel to Europe and like understand it a bit better, I think for sure they might think that all the system that they live in is pretty shit, but at the same time probably not going to happen. America can afford it, we just don't want to because America profits of the sick and dying, and we send all our money oppressing other countries. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, play. Yeah, tip should be just a bonus. No way it should be making up the income. Norway's Ministry of Foreign Affairs just released a statement that students should return home if they're staying in a country with poorly developed health services and infrastructure like the US. Yeah, it's crazy to say it, but they're not wrong as well. Based mum saying, Walmart everywhere, and Walmart costs every single community millions of tax-paying money every year to support the employees of Walmart, food stamps, housing, to medical. Yeah, and that's why it was so frustrating. People were getting so precious about some of the rioters. Some of the riots took place during the Black Lives Matter protests, targeting like Target or Walmart, and it's like these massive corporations exploit the poorest communities in America. It's totally fine for them to take their anger out on these corporations. Like, I don't give a shit if they're burning down a Walmart or something like that. So Evil Little McNugget saying that it feels like they're trying to kill off the poor. Healthy food is more expensive, so the poorer you are, the more likely to be obese. Yeah, Evil McNuggets. That's also what I was saying. I don't know if you hear for it earlier about the it's also on the screen right now. In terms of my tweet about getting off meat, and the alternatives. What I was saying is the alternatives to meat for me, in my experience, are actually quite expensive. So it's kind of hard to afford that unless you're just going to eat like stuff like vegetables or other things. But in terms of like getting like a meat substitute, it's quite hard. But yeah, like healthy food is more expensive. Also, the time it takes to prepare healthy food, and that's why like here's something I want people to answer in the chat, right? Something I'm constantly amazed by is how much Americans seem to eat takeout, like takeaway, because sorry, because in the UK, right, takeout is seen as like a treat. Like I'd say, it's not uncommon for people to have it once a week, like on a Friday or a Saturday, but this is based on people I follow on like Twitter and YouTube. Americans seem to eat takeout like every other day. Like it's like a proper part of their diet. Like you're gonna eat junk food, whether that is like the various fast food chains you guys have, like so many, or just even just like any takeaway instead of cooking for yourself as well. And I think that's a big problem because a lot of the time, what's good about fast food is it's a lot of calories and it's cheap for that amount of calories. Like McDonald's is like probably the best example I can think of. If I wanted to eat loads of calories quickly and for cheap, I would go to McDonald's. And it seems like a problem in America is not even just like the poverty is like a massive factor in it, but it's also just the cultural thing as well. Is that it feels like the option of takeout is so available, that people just consume it as part of their regular diet, which I think culturally in the UK is just not the same thing, because takeout is like people do get it, and obviously some people get it more than others, but it's really seen as like something you do as like a treat on the weekend. But you're not getting takeout like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday or some shit. But I actually seen a lot of Americans do that, which I find so bizarre because this food is so bad for you, and so fattening as well. But obviously, like the poverty angle as well is that if you, I don't know, single parent who has to work, takeaways is a good option because you don't have time to prepare the food and cook as much. Our education level is garbage. Texas just removed MLK from Texas this year. That's beyond fucked. Yeah, I met like a couple Americans at university, and the one with like most of you guys are American. Most of my Patreons are American. Most of my subs are American. I know loads of Americans very smart and well informed and stuff. But one thing I noticed from actually going to school with some Americans for my masters is Americans are very inward looking. So I had a girl on my master's course, right? And we had a presentation on the US involvement in the Iraq war. She was older than me and she barely knew anything about it on a master's course. And I think I had two Americans and I had to basically like help them so much and like about George Bush and everything. And I'm like, I was just thinking like, do you guys just not know this stuff? Like you're like nearly 30, you probably lived it a lot more than me. And then like other Americans I spoke to, just very self-obsessed. This is one thing, it's quite funny. It's like I said to my girlfriend, because she's interacted with a lot of Americans and stuff. Americans will talk to you about really weird shit like it's the most common thing and you should know about it. Like I've had Americans talk to me about their very small towns in places I've never heard of, like everyone in the world has heard of this place. And I'm just asking those questions like, yeah, where is that? And they're just at like I'm an idiot for asking these things. Also, one girl was from Utah, and I kind of know a lot about Utah because of the Mormon stuff, and also they have a football team that's quite famous. I was talking a lot about it. She's like, "Are you from Utah?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not from Utah. Like, I just have read a tiny bit about it." But yeah, I do. Like, to be honest, American culture, like movies, games, TV shows, music. I love American stuff, but and also a lot of you guys are Americans. I know most, not most. I know a lot of Americans are really, really, really normal and smart. America is just like basically two countries in one. That you just got a bunch of total like insane people running the other party and just making sure people stay dumb to continue voting for them. All right, I'm reading some more things. All right, so I'm just reading some comments. Sorry. There's more fast food shops and grocery stores. I wouldn't be surprised. The Kavernacle. I eat takeout most work days for dinner. I work on my feet and burn a lot of calories. When I'm at home in the morning, I want to rest instead of cook. Yeah, I'm sure that's a dilemma like loads of people face, especially more manual labouring jobs. It's cheaper to get fast food, plus overworked people don't have to cook. Yeah, but it's obviously really bad for your health at the same time. I eat takeout maybe twice a month, so Melon Lord's completely different. I don't know anyone who eats it every other day. Well, no, you do, Melon Lord, because Nick just said they do. So, capitalism saps people of their free time. That, Dr. Claude, that is what I hate so much. You guys probably know. I'm not sure how many of you guys have been following the channel for like 7 or 8 months, but yeah, I quit my job in the start of December, and basically I did it for a year. This is my first job out of uni, and what I hated about it was, yeah, it saps your free time. And you know, I live at home and shit. Like, I have more free time. I don't have children, and I don't have like loads of responsibilities. I still had no free time. I would get up for work at 6:30. I'd get home at 7 p.m. On a Monday, I'd have football. On a Tuesday, I'd have to work out and make a YouTube video. On a Wednesday, I'd have football. On a Thursday, I'd have to work out and make a YouTube video. On a Friday, that was my only night off. On a Saturday morning, I had to get up to play football. And obviously, you have like, you know, outside of work relationships. I obviously have my girlfriend and my friends and stuff. And the thing is, I got it all done, but I used to sleep like 5 hours a night, and it just affected my health so bad. Like, I had so many health problems. And obviously what you do to yourself, this is a thing, is I would stay up later just to have more free time, but then I'd have less sleep. And it just like radicalized me so bad. And obviously my boss was total horrible person as well. Job paid like shit. I hated my life when I was there. So happy. The thing is, I didn't plan on doing YouTube full time. I'm just really lucky. Like, and basically I took a week off over Christmas. It's like probably like the first time I had just done no videos within 7 days for years. And then my first one back, I remember, because it's me and my girlfriend's eight-year anniversary, which is on the 2nd of January. And I remember I made this video on New Year's Day, and I was like, for fuck's sake, I don't want to make a video on New Year's Day. Like, I've just, you know, we went out on New Year's Eve and stuff. And then it was about the furries and bronies, and then the next day it just blew up. And that's just like, my channel just got so much better since then. And I was on 13K, I think. This was January 2nd, and the video blew up. I had like an amazing month, had like 400k views in 4 weeks, which I've had again in the last 4 weeks. I think it's my best month since then. And then luckily for me, now the last couple months, I've actually made more money from like sponsorship, ad revenue, and Patreon altogether than I did at my old job. So I've been really lucky to escape. But the thing is, I had to put in the work with this channel when I was working. And I did so at the expense of my like mental health, physical health. Like, I had a lot of physical and neurological problems when I was working. I still get neurological problems, but like the stress has really declined, so my neurological problems are way better. But yeah, that's the main thing, Dr. Claw. Like, it saps people with free time. Totally right. And that's the main thing, is that like you have one life, and you guys, especially the guy. Sorry, I forgot what your username was. The guy who says he works manual labor all the time, and that he eats fast food every day. You know, I'm sure like he's not overweight and stuff, because he probably does so much work. But at the same time, if you don't have enough time to eat, to even cook your food, you're probably not going to have much time to do your favorite hobby a lot. And that's the main problem with capitalism, is that like the people who have time to like do their hobbies like a lot of the time are the more privileged people, where the people who work harder have no time to do anything, and you just do the bare minimum. And then, you know, like that, your life is over. And what have you done your whole life? You worked something you didn't really like, probably something you maybe hated. Everyone has been in control of your life for you, bosses, landlords, all this other shit. And even America, you don't even have the freedom of having your health taken care for you by the government and stuff. So it's just a really sad thing in general. And I know like it's more like a privileged position to be like, you know, we just don't have enough free time. But I think you can only deal with the situation you're in. And yeah, it's just the worst part. You exist to make someone else as much money as possible, and make their lives better, and make them have more free time and more money and everything like that, while you work like a dog and don't get to pursue the things you like. And I guess I like made it to an extent on YouTube in that I'm doing it as my primary source of income now, and it's going well. But I had to put in so much work to do everything outside of work, and like that has included football and YouTube, and like it really killed me to do. So I'll always be proud of myself for doing that, but it was just really not healthy at the same time. So yeah, capitalism sucks just for robbing you of like the good parts of actually being alive. Yeah, I work 40 hours as well, but Eva's saying in the US everyone works 40, and then obviously it's about 55 hours when you take the commute into account. Everyone works 40 hours. If you're an adult, you get unpaid 30-minute lunches at your job, and most office workers eat every day. Yeah, everything's really far apart, and you have to drive everywhere. Someone said in the Ask UK subreddit, it's like, I was in the UK and someone said a 30-minute walk was short, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then they said in America, some places you can't walk anywhere because it's all just like roads without proper facilities for pedestrians. And in London, you can walk everywhere. I can walk from mine to Big Ben in like 2 hours if I wanted to. I walk loads of places. 30-minute walk. I used to walk from Waterloo Station to London Bridge. That's a 30-minute walk. I used to do that 2 times a day and no problem. But Americans are like, yeah, it's crazy to think of even walking somewhere 30 minutes. You've got to get an Uber or drive because it's just not designed that way. What's a food dessert? I use a lot of microwave options that are healthy. I used to cook for myself a lot when I was into weightlifting. Now that I'm old, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, microwave isn't as bad as takeout. Like, some microwave food can actually be pretty good. So I'm just reading some more stuff. Sorry, it flicked down. US is very car centric. Yeah, I've heard. Based on the dairy industry pumps hormones into cows to produce maximum amount of milk, then the government subsidises it, starts a got milk campaign set to kill day in America. Yeah, that's sort of the insidious stuff you don't really think about, but yeah, you're totally right. Is America fixable? I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I think America works by design in terms of like it's working how it's designed to work, and that is creating the most like billionaires and millionaires in the world, creating wealth for the wealthy, extracting all this wealth from the poor in America. I think just like societies like Brazil and India, that's by design. It's not like a fault with the American system because it's one of the most capitalist systems on the planet. Yeah, I get that. Roommates who are pretty filthy. Although, like, I've had bad roommates or fat mates who were really messy. The fridge was always okay. But yeah, I have had awful fat mates as well. It's called soccer. Yeah, someone was correcting me on the date as well. Americans are weirdos. You're the only ones who say soccer, and you're the only ones who do the date, like, the wrong way round. How often do you live stream? Yeah, I usually live stream twice a week, but because my girlfriend's had an operation on her foot like a month ago, so I've been round here a couple times. I'm here right now. It's not my traditional room. I stream and make videos in. So it's really fucked up my schedule, and because I was feeling terrible last week. So basically, my normal schedule is video Monday, live stream Tuesday, video Wednesday, live stream Thursday, video Friday. But because I'm here now, I didn't want to make a video because I just went to football and I was tired. I live stream today, but then so it's someone's birthday on Friday. So basically, I never go out on a Friday because I'm always making YouTube videos on a Friday. But I do actually want to go out to this thing on Friday, so I've got to do videos tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I probably won't have time to stream. I might stream on Wednesday for like an hour if I can get the video recorded before then, and I can just edit it afterwards. But usually 2 times a week, and I have the Kavernacle Extra, which is my second channel, where I post the stream archives, old streams you can go watch there. Hopefully this one at some point as well. No, you should talk more about rich people who have all the time in the world to make music and be influencers, how it perpetuates their fame, wealth and fame. Yeah, no, it's totally true. Like you have it's no surprise when most actors and directors all have children who become them as well, because they have the privileged lifestyle as well. You know, I'm privileged. Like I recognize that a lot. Like I had a really good education. Thankfully, my parents have, like, you know, me and my girlfriend's plan is to move to different countries and stuff. So basically, we want to move to different countries for a couple of years, and then want to buy our place because we're going to work at the same time, and then we want to put a down payment on someone when we get back. But we're only able to do that because my parents are letting us stay with them, or letting me stay with them. So that's insane privilege I've got there. And even like I'm saying with the YouTube stuff, I quit my job because I hated it. But if I was in the situation where I was renting somewhere, I couldn't quit because I didn't have the guarantee of the money. So I'm insanely privileged. You know, I've worked really hard in my life for everything. I've never had like massive help in terms of like I never went to private school. I never had tutors in my life. I barely even had much help with school. Like, my dad is smart, and he would help me if I needed it, but I wouldn't normally go to him for help. So I've worked really hard my whole life with all this stuff. But at the same time, my privilege is that I've had a stable home life, parents who are not forcing me out of the house, forcing me to get like a job I hate or something, or stay in a job I hate. You know, my mum wasn't very supportive of me quitting my job, but my dad was, which was good. But that's what you need. But then like that is privilege in itself. You know, I wasn't rich, and my parents were giving me like, here's a couple $100,000, go buy yourself a house or do whatever the fuck you want. Like, not that kind of privilege, but the privilege of just having like a stable home and not having to worry about stuff. That's another type of privilege. So yeah, even though like, you know, I told you had bad neurological problems, mental health issues, physical health issues from working and having like a crazy schedule, at the same time, still privileged to even have like the situation wasn't me becoming a wage slave in the sense that I could quit really. What was it? Red Leader, was it the one where they would only, the maximum amount of like immigrants in an area will be 30% or some shit? Is that the one? What's a food dessert? Are we just talking about ordering dessert from a takeout or something? You just order a McFlurry from McDonald's. Is that what we're talking about? It seems self-explanatory, but is it like a cultural thing? Are you talking about like ordering a takeaway after dinner or something as like a dessert? Middle America has 0 sidewalks. That's really fucking shit. Much of Western America has been built post World War II and was designed for space and cars. Oh, okay. I live in one of the worst cities with food dessert. Okay, what is a food? Is a food dessert just ordering takeout? Like, I don't understand this terminology. Oh, we're not talking about desserts. We're talking about deserts. All right, that makes more sense. But when we're talking about food and you put that word afterwards, it makes me think about desserts. Like you know, like yeah, dessert. It's the fucking chocolate thing or whatever ice cream you have after dinner. All right, food desert. I get that now. It makes way more sense. Don't have grocery stores or healthy options in poorer minority communities, and only have fast food, so they're forced to eat unhealthy. Yeah, that really sucks. It's like America's so massive and there's so many like settlements everywhere, but I guess it's like just haven't set it up properly in that it can accommodate everyone's like healthier lifestyle. Um, the UK used to say soccer. I've never heard anyone call it soccer in the UK. Okay, thanks for explaining food desert to me. I've never seen that before. I've never ever heard that before, but then um, my mind stuck another S in there. Yeah, Black Brit. I have never. The thing is, right. I went to somewhere called Ullapool in Scotland, pretty small place. And it didn't have much there, but it had a massive Tesco. And if you have a massive supermarket, you can eat healthy. Um, and the takeaway options, it had no McDonald's. It had a Chinese, an Indian, a fish and chips, and a seafood place, like a takeaway style. So even the thing is when I told you guys I need to post this video on my second channel, but I did like the Route 66 of Scotland. Like I drove from London to Scotland, then around Scotland. So I saw so many like small towns everywhere, and I think the most common thing in the UK is most small towns still have a big supermarket. Um, and in the UK, the supermarkets aren't like the US. Like, my girlfriend's been to like Walmart, and she said it's like the biggest fucking thing she's ever seen with so many options for junk. But something like a Tesco or I think the Sainsbury's, no, Asda is the Walmart version in the UK. The stuff you get there is not. It's not just filled with like junk food a lot of the time. Like most of it is like you can shop as healthy as you want in these places really, and that's what I noticed in the UK is like there was always a big supermarket, like a one you just drive your car to and go get your stuff, but like it was in these small towns that were nowhere near anything. So I think the UK has just been like kind of set up better for this type of thing. So that's why I've probably never heard of a food desert, because the places that have the most fast food restaurants are normally bigger towns and cities. And if you live in a bigger town, and cities in the UK are actually pretty small. Like I went to university the first time in Southampton, which is quite a small city. It actually has a smaller population than two boroughs that I went to school and live in London. It's like way smaller. You can drive around that pretty quick, but it has so much stuff in it. I went to York, which is fairly small as well. So much stuff in it, and then you go to little towns. Like I live in like a London town, but it's got everything you need in it basically. So I think that's the difference with the UK. I think, and that's why I've never heard of a food desert, and that's why I thought you were talking about food desserts, like you're ordering McDonald's for a fucking dessert or something. um, but yeah, I don't know anywhere in the UK really that just has loads of fast food places and no supermarkets. But that sounds fucking depressing. I've never fucking heard of that. So reading some more stuff. A yummy food dessert. It's really depressing. Yeah, that sounds depressing, and I've never fucking heard of that before. Because I'm thinking about all the places I drove through, and I was like, there's always like a little, like a giant little. There's always a big Tesco or a big Sainsbury's or something. Even like these weird ski towns in Scotland. Like yeah, Scotland has ski towns. It has all this shit in it still. Um, what's a food swamp? Yeah, Northern Independence Party, I think it's fine and it makes good points, but the thing is, I just don't take them seriously because of their Twitter. It's just too memey and not, it doesn't feel serious. But yeah, I don't mind. Northern Independence, I support anyone getting away from the fucking Tories. Scottish independence, yep. Irish unification, yep. Cornish independence, Red Leader's saying, yeah, go for it. But to be honest, Cornwall is so fucking deprived as like an area of the UK. Maybe not the best idea. Um, um, Even petrol stations, yeah, petrol stations often have a marks like Benjamin. So many petrol stations I went to in the middle of nowhere in Scotland had Marks and Spencers attached to them. Like literally just go in. I was like, oh, this is a nice petrol station. That's like a really fancy supermarket on it. Food deserts in the city are particularly bad because people mostly walk everywhere in some instances and don't have a car. Man, you guys are just making me think like the US is like the biggest fucking shithole to live in. It's like it's talking about food deserts and obviously people just not having healthcare and healthcare being tied to their job. It sounds like a fucking dystopia. Um, so let's read some more stuff. Um, yeah, Ned's asked me about the political landscape in the UK. Wales is a fucking weird one because the party that runs Wales is Labour, and it's like more left leaning than the current English Labour Party. Scotland is generally more left wing as well. Northern Ireland is the most right wing. That's probably not fair. Northern Ireland has the most right wing political party in it, the DUP. And Northern Irish Protestants are some of the most conservative people in the UK. But it's a bit of a mess, really. Like Northern Ireland mostly voted to stay in the EU. Wales voted mostly to leave the EU. England voted mostly to leave the EU. But then it's like so weird. So I'd say like Scotland is probably the most progressive. It is the most progressive, especially the way they've tackled like knife crime, poverty, drugs, and stuff. Way more progressive than the UK. Then I'd say Wales, and then England, and then to be honest, English people ruin the UK. It's the main one. English people and Northern Irish people, Northern Irish Protestants make the UK shit. The others are okay. I'll give them a pass. Although Wales do like with the Brexit stuff, I did vote with the English. USA is a dumpster fire. Yeah, I can't. UK is the same though. The thing is, the bad thing about talking to you guys about America is it makes me grateful to live in the UK. But then I realise I fucking hate it here too. But like, America just seems like a fucking hellhole. I just can't believe there hasn't been some sort of like absolutely massive like general strike or revolution. It's just crazy how cucked America. Oh, I wouldn't even say cucked. Well, a lot of people, conservatives, especially educated ones, are cucked. But like, just so many people are brainwashed by capitalism. It sucks. America's a third world country in a Gucci belt. It's a great way of summing it up. So that's why people should shift focus to homesteading and being more self-reliant, self-sustainable. Yeah, base mom. That's something I'm really ashamed of because there are like allotments in the UK and you can like work at your own little plot of land and grow shit. But I'm so inept and like have no understanding of that shit. Like if there was an apocalypse, I'd be fucked. Why can't the Labour Party win an election recently? The closest they were to winning was in 2017. Brexit really fucked them because Jeremy Corbyn was pro-Brexit, like secretly. But the Labour Party, because it had young people, wanted to appeal to the young people by saying they were anti-Brexit. So they just had a mess. in the 2019. Basically, it's the Labour right were forcing Jeremy Corbyn to not take a firm stance on Brexit, and yeah, it just fucked him really. The Boris factor, like the celebrity of him, was a big reason too. Basically, England is just like I've always lived in London, and the only other places I lived for a bit was uni was Southampton, which is a fair bit more racist, like more fascist elements and shit in there. So my perception of the UK is very warped in that I went to school in like a very diverse area. You know, like I'm friends of people who are like either immigrants or immigrant backgrounds like myself. Friends of Polish people who came over here when they joined the EU. Friends of like a fair few Indian people, different religions, even though I went to a Catholic school. So my perception of the UK is like, oh, this lovely, cosmopolitan, pretty tolerant place, because from like a pretty nice place in London. And then I went to school in a very diverse place. And then what a lot of people tell me, I don't know if any English people are in the chat, they're from other parts of the country. Yeah, England is very, very racist and very backwards in a lot of their social views. Like the Labour Party won't even touch trans rights. Well, as much as I think he doesn't really give a shit about them, Joe Biden saying, talking about transgender people is like a massive deal, I think, just to show like socially the US Democrats in terms of lip service are so much better than the Labour Party in the UK. Obviously we have so many liberal turfs here and shit like that. Anyway, UK is just very annoying country. London is cool though, really, for the most part. Gammon Fest. Yeah, exactly. Gammon Fest. Yeah, Red Leader, the Republicans are cool in Ireland and Northern Ireland. But yeah, let's see what happens. I hope they would win the next election, but I don't know. I'm hoping Northern Ireland is gonna go and become united, but you know, we'll see. Corbyn was sabotaged, yeah. British food infuriates me. What type of British food? I don't even think there is like I was talking to someone about this the other day. I was like, what is England's national food? Like fry ups and roast dinners. I was like, most of it is pretty international, like Chinese and Indian and stuff. They charge you for ketchup packs in London McDonald's. Oh well, the solution to that is don't eat ketchup because it's gross. Turf Island, as they say, yeah. There are lots of turfs there. In the UK, yeah, loads. Basically, Singularity, most liberal feminists in the UK are against trans rights. It's really fucked up. Yorkshire here, gammon everywhere. That is totally not surprising. I stayed in Yorkshire twice this summer. It felt like Get Out, what type white people. I just got the vibe. Later on, the Blair was closer. Yeah, fucking hate Blair. A full English breakfast. It is, Dr. Claw, English breakfast is good. I like it. I had it way too much when I was on holiday because we stayed in bed and breakfast and we just got it served every day. But it is nice. Fuck ketchup, yeah. I hate the smell. So bad. Bangers and mash. Other than that, it's tikka masala. Yeah, that's two of them for sure. All my homies hate. Yeah, I hate ketchup. I mean, I can eat it, but just the smell of it. Oh god, I hate it so much. Sweet and sour sauce. Nope, I'm not for that either. Barbecue sauce, burger sauce, gravy with a takeaway, like with a Chinese gravy is normally really good, and then I'd say that's pretty much for sauce. Sometimes hot sauce. I used to be a bit bigger on hot sauce. Talking about the Labour Party being membership based, yeah, but it still sucks in terms of like the purging that's been going on at the moment. Hate ketchup on subs. I mainly just hate the smell. Alright, I think we've been streaming for a while now. What's your opinion on entryism to the Tory party? What's entryism? Specifically, I'm not too sure of the terminology. So just checking something quick. Right. Buffalo sauce. I've never had buffalo sauce. That feels like an American thing. Not endorsing UK Labour. Do you have steaks in the UK? Of course we do. What kind of country do you think this is? Yeah, it's my whole point. Look at the tweet on screen. Yeah, we have steak in the UK. Scottish steak is famous, isn't it? It's like Angus steak or whatever. But yeah, steak's big in the UK. Obviously, like Argentine steak is like obviously what people love the most, but like Angus steak is seen as a big thing as well. Did you encounter many Western tourists in your neck of the woods? Australian, kind of. Canadian is kind of hard to tell because a lot of them sound the same as Americans to me. Americans, yeah, sure. I went to school with a couple for my masters. That was probably the biggest exposure to Americans. But yeah, you get a fair few tourists. Like you hear American accents when you're in London and stuff. I'd be more interested if it did have Buffalo in it, but it's actually from Buffalo, New York. Joining a party of opposing political views of your own views with a goal to swear disrupt. I've never heard of that being effective, but it is interesting. I would never bother with the effort of doing that though. All right. Anyway, I really enjoyed this conversation actually. Talking a lot about American culture has just been interesting and enlightening. Also makes me realise I never want to live there. And food desert. I thought you guys were all just savages who were ordering food desserts after you'd eaten your dinner. You were just ordering Big Macs as like a dessert after your main course. But yeah, the food desert, that is just fucking depressing. Now you guys have informed me what a food desert is, and I never knew what that is. Boris Johnson is American, yeah, he is. That's why he's so shit with me. But yeah, America just feels like a country that is like the politicization and polarization of just really normal things. I think really doesn't help when the country is like kind of crumbling, not like in a really dramatic way, but like just it's just so poorly made. You wanted a nice big cow burger at the Adelaide Zoo. My earliest memory of an American. I don't think I even met an American until university. We had some Australians in school that I remember. And obviously Australia is way more similar to the UK than America. But yeah, Australian teachers as well. Australian, New Zealand teachers we had a lot of. No American teachers. Benjamin, I try and stream twice a week, normally on Tuesday and Thursday night. I've just been really fucking off with my schedule. All my streams are archived on the Kavernacle Extra, my second channel. So check that out if you give a shit about my old streams. I will try and fix the quality because it's really pissing me off that it's such shit trouble. Is it true? LD is okay. I want to comment on this. LD, is this a serious comment? Do you think there are no dentists in Britain? Or are you just saying that? Like the thing is, it's a common stereotype that Britain does not have look, British people do not have good teeth for some reason. I don't know where this comes from. Because you can actually get your dental coverage. Oh, you're joking. Okay, because it's a thing people actually believe. In Britain, you can actually get your dental coverage subsidised by the NHS. So if we're talking about like people having access to dentists, well, in the UK, if you require like extensive dental work, you get it. I had my braces for free, for example. Otherwise, you'd have to pay £3,000 for them. So I've had, and then I used to have my checkups subsidised by the US, and even some of my cleans subsidised by the NHS until I was like 22, and then they stopped subsidising them, which sucks because I think you should have it free forever. But obviously in America, you don't have anything for free, so you're not getting the free dentist ever or subsidised dentist work. But yeah, it is crazy. Like NHS should subsidise all the dental coverage regardless. It is a bit annoying. Like they do, you have to like do like a little interview before you get it for free and everything. But yeah, obviously better than just not having it subsidised. It comes from the state of famous Brits' teeth, I believe. To be honest, I don't know how many of you guys watched the Peter Jackson World War One documentary, They Shall Not Grow Old. The British soldiers' teeth in that were awful, but they also, obviously, most of those soldiers were working class as well. So it's probably like a class thing. I think Tiffany Fergus did an article about, not an article, a video about class and good teeth. Oh, okay, see you later, Spooky. I'm wrapping up. I just wanted to address the dental stuff quick because I've seen this a lot of the time. I think if you did a survey or like I'm sure there's been some sort of like analysis. I'm sure Americans probably, on average, have way worse teeth than British people. Just because in Britain, if you do have really bad teeth, you're probably going to get free dentist work on them. In America, you're not. Unless, I don't know, if you're on Medicaid or Medicare. A tooth nerve. No, it's just, I think it's just something I've just seen a lot. I just thought I'd dispel that British people have worse teeth. I've never seen people with really awful teeth. Crooked teeth is the worst, but then you should be getting braces when you're young, really, and you should be getting them for free. Maybe it was a 60s and 70s thing, perhaps. My mum has loads of fillings. I think it was a lot less of a big issue then. I don't really know too many people. I had fillings when I was a kid, never when I was an adult though. Yeah, maybe they do. It does take it is a fucking long process to get them. All right. I think I've been streaming for a very long time. I'm not sure how long, but I think it's a lot longer than usual. 2 hours. We've done a 2 hour stream. It must have been the coffee I drank at the start. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in today. Had a lot of fun. Hopefully a new video tomorrow about the OnlyFans stuff. Compare it to the Tumblr shit that happened on Tumblr. But yeah, enjoyed. I've seen a lot of new people in the chat as well, which is always fun. Streaming at different times. Like I stream at stream at midnight one time, and I stream at like 3 to 5 a.m. another time. Anyway, Base Mum, yeah, I think I haven't seen you in the chat before, so thanks for tuning in. Look out for the videos this week. I may potentially stream on Wednesday after filming whatever video I decide to fucking do that day. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and see you.